This is the AstroTarot Show, and I, of course, am your celestial host, Serona Rose. And do you remember me saying that March would be coming in like a lamb and leaving like a lion? I wasn't wrong. We began March with this wonderful Venus energy. In Even when she was in Aries, it was nice. She was next to Jupiter. It was beautiful, beautiful energy. And now it seems like things are picking up, and there's many things that we can talk about. But first, let's get a rundown. The 21st, we had our new moon in Aries, and that was followed by the spring equinox. So yeah, we've got a lot of that new renewal energy, new beginning energy. So that is really, really strong. When also, the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Chiron and Vesta are still in Aries. So again, we're still pushing for that new beginning. And the Sun actually on the 21st did a square with Uranus, and that was knocking us off our game a little bit, especially with Mars that was involved. I spoke about that in a previous video. You might want to check that out. Now Mars is still in a square with those that are still in Aries as we speak. So this is a lot of it can be aggressive energy, but with Uranus that's involved, this can be some energy that is going to be where your anger is going to be misplaced, so we need to watch out for that. On the 22nd, the moon will conjunct Jupiter. That's really good energy, so we have a little bit of a softening there. On the 23rd, Pluto will move into the zodiac sign of Aquarius, and this is going to change a little bit. And let me talk about Pluto, because he's going to be doing some movement, and he's not really known to do a lot of movement, but here he will be. So Pluto will be in Aquarius until 2043-44 time frame. So and he's going to be bringing a lot of different energy. Remember, Pluto was in Capricorn, and when he was there, he was digging up a lot of secrets and a lot of dirt on those top down structures, and we're seeing this now. We're seeing it still come about. But now he will go retrograde on May the 1st, and he will retrograde back into Capricorn by June the 11th. He will go direct on October the 23rd, of October of this year, I should say, of 2023. And he moves back into Aquarius November of 2024, and there he will remain for about 20 years. So this is all the new babies coming in. After that, they will have their Pluto in Aquarius. And what does that mean? Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit, because I really want, Pluto is a planet that we really underestimate the power of. So now going along, we have the 25th, we have Mars moving into Cancer. So again, this is more energy that we will feel. Mars has been in Gemini for a while, and whenever a planet is in a sign for a long time, they really gain a lot of power. But when he moves into Cancer, it's going to change it a little bit. Mars in Cancer is not strong, so he will be at his detriment. But it doesn't mean he's not useful. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have a purpose to serve. So we started this week with new beginning energy, with Saturn moving out of Aquarius and into Pisces. And this movement is going to be a definite shift. And I'm already seeing some of that. It's already it's feeling that kind of spaciness almost. And Whereas for me and my placements on my birth chart, this is supposed to be pretty good, and I'm hoping this is going to be good. But you will have to look at your birth chart and see how this, put this chart against your birth chart and see how that is going to fare for you. Now, what we have to understand about Pluto is Pluto has had a lot of names. He destroys in order to create. He destructs in order to reconstruct. So as he was in Capricorn, that's what he was doing. And his energy is still felt, as we're seeing, especially with what's going on with Twitter, with all of this stuff that's coming out on the top-down structures. It's very interesting. Pluto represents something from deep underneath all of that, down deep in the darkness, the deep dark underworld coming up, that we begin to become aware of. It begins to come in light, and it's something that should be destroyed and transformed. So again, he's bringing up these elements that have had just too much power, too much deceit, too many secrets, too many things that work against humanity. And he is those things that had too much power, and it is about deconstructing in order to reconstruct, and that is going to be our key here: reconstruction. And this could be for your personal life. This could be things and secrets, in your personal life as well. Things and secrets that have been coming up that you've been finding out. Maybe people have been doing you wrong behind your back and you're just now finding it out, and so forth. Pluto represents those secrets that's kept from us. And another thing that Pluto relates to is understanding of humanity. And and this is what he's going to be doing in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is about the people. It's power for the people. And it'll also go into our origins, like where we are from. A lot of people are going into their DNA. But there's also more stuff that's coming about. We have places over, places like and those different ancient sites from Sumer and Mesopotamia, things like that are coming into light, that are showing us more and more about what's going on in our world. Again, it's like a bringing into light for humanity when he is in Aquarius. It's rediscovering, humanity, rediscovering what humanity is. And I think this is going to be really related to those things that have been hidden from us for a long time, about how our body can work, how our body can heal, those things like that. Aquarius represents the future, and it goes into AI. It will go into that sort of thing as well, so we can see more of this coming about. Again, we have to be careful. The machine-based intelligence is a wonderful thing, and but it can, of course, go a different way, go a way that's not good for us all. So when Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's like taking a huge leap forward, a real huge leap forward. So that is thrusting into overdrive. And also with Pluto, I'm going to be doing a separate video about Pluto, because Pluto is about power. He is a power god. He's a wealth. He's the god of the underworld. He is also, as he is giving power to the people, this is also death to the people. So this could be a different structure of society, culture. So there's a lot of things that we can consider there. So please stay tuned to my YouTube channel, as I will be posting a different video for Pluto about that. Now Mars, I want to talk about Mars because this is very important. Mars is one of those planets that's This is the god of war, but he's also a god of passion. And he will fight for those things that are dear to his heart, dear to what he is passionate about. Mars entered Gemini back in August of 2022. So he was there for 7 months. And he doesn't usually stay in a sign that long. He's usually in a sign for about a month, month and a half, and he moves along. Maybe even a couple months. Sometimes, he'll spend about, I'll say about a couple months to be fair, in a sign. So when Mars is entering, when he enters into Cancer, he is entering into a different realm here, and he loses some of his power. Again, this doesn't mean that he is not, that he cannot be of use here. Matter of fact, he is really good for defending the home, defending the family. Those things have really been attacked over the years. Also, the self, protecting the self, as far as what has happened to us in the past 3 years. We have been attacked like no other time, and it is all about feeding us the fear, so we're not doing those things that will be in our right mind. When we are in fear, it shuts off our frontal lobe here, our frontal the area here in our brain that is able to help us have that critical thinking, and it prevents us from doing that. That's why fear is something that we really need to be careful of. There's a difference in being aware and being cautious and living in fear. My advice for everybody is to turn off the TV. Seriously, turn off the TV. There's nothing on there right now it's playing that is good for the whole of the world. Again, he's going to bring more protection of our home life as well, our freedoms, as well as our homeland, taking care of our homeland and being protective of that. On the 27th, Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter. And if you've been watching my updates and my YouTubes, you can see where I'm showing this huge cluster in Aries of these planets. And this is still going on, this cluster here in Aries. So that's a lot of Aryan energy. And Mercury will be replacing Venus. So this will be putting words to our beliefs, being more forward. Sometimes this placement can be seen as passive aggressive, and this is something that I've noticed too. There's a lot of passive aggressive stuff that is happening, but this is where we need to be cautious of this. Remember, you need to put the issues where they belong, and not be like that. This time of being the passive aggressive and being the victim role and all of that, being the martyr, that time is coming to pass. So that is something that we have to leave behind, because it's not going to fit into our future. So I will say with Jupiter, we can overstate things, especially with Jupiter in Aries. It can lead to overstating our importance and things like that. So be careful with that. It's this energy was you're willing to act, but it seems like you can't, because with Mars in Cancer, it's stewing. It's keeping it inward. You'll have to excuse me. I am having allergy problems, and it is pretty bad. So by the 30th, Mars will be trining Saturn. And this is a lot of water. Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces. So let's think about bringing stability to emotions, right? Water represents our emotions. It represents our feelings. So this is really good, really needed at this time to bring stability to our emotions, to our feelings. It's a good time to organize. This is good for organization, believe it or not. and it's good for accomplishing things. Now, I want to bring us back because you remember when I talked about the last show about Mars squaring Neptune, and he did that 3 times. So, in beginning in 2022, Mars also trines Saturn 3 times. Well, this is his 3rd time. So back in 2022, he trines Saturn in September, and then when Mars went retrograde, um, he did so again in November of 2022. And then now on March the 30th of 2023, um, we are again having that, it is ending that Mars and um, Saturn trine. So when they were in air signs, that's a lot. Um, Again, Mars in Gemini is bringing war between brothers. That is when we saw the war with Russia and Ukraine, but it's also when we're seeing a time of top down bringing war between siblings and issues between the people that live together. That here, like here in the United States, it's really a big division now, and the past 3 years has really led to that. So you can see how the propaganda and all this other stuff that that astrology has been saying, hey, be careful of, has been coming in. You can see how that has caused a divide. So to the air signs, it was very air is it's the sword suit in the tarot, and that's one of the most uneasy suits in the tarot. Now in water, in their 3rd and final trine, emotion. And also, this is about bringing our emotions to, stability. It's time to understand our emotions more. Why are we feeling this way? And where is this coming from? Not the surface, but the root. Where is it coming from? I don't want to hear about symptoms. I want to hear about why is it happening. So also on that day, the moon is moving into Cancer. I'm sorry, 2 days before, on the 28th, the moon is moving into Cancer. The moon will also conjunct Mars. So this is really setting up the energy for the 30th. The moon is there. So this is, again, bringing in our that nurturing, our dreams, or that mystical, that emotions. Again, it's bringing that into this mix. So this energy will take us into April, and it's going to be wanting us to get things done. It's time to have stability. It's time to work through those emotions, see them for what they are, and it's time to stabilize. So I want to talk about Venus a little bit, because Venus moved into Taurus back on the 17th, and she'll be there until April the 11th of this year, 2023. So here she's home. Venus in Taurus, this is good energy. This is good for, it's wonderful energy for the home, for relationships. It's good to find new love. It's good for partnerships. And she will also be meeting up with the North Node in Taurus. So this will enhance the energy. This is where we want to go. We want to bring more compassion. We want to bring more understanding. And then Uranus will add some excitement to this. Because on the 30th, I'm going to back us up. I'm going to bring us to the future here a little bit. Venus will conjunct Neptune on the 30th in Taurus. So before she does that, she's going to meet up. When she does that, then she's going to meet up with the North Node. So what does this mean? Neptune, that is high frequency energy. This energy is going to be it's going to be like falling in love. because the next day on the 31st, she's going to square Mars. She's going to have a semi-square with Mars. So this is really good energy. So while she is here in Taurus, she will meet up with Uranus, like I said, and it will add some excitement. This could be someone coming into your life that's a soulmate, and maybe it's somebody that you've met in the past, maybe, that's coming back into your life. Maybe it wasn't big then, but now it's in a different way. Because then she's going to sextile Saturn, and Saturn in Pisces. And this is going to be realistic prosperity. This is about bringing that stability into bringing what we want into reality, into our real world. And he's going to say, okay, but Saturn is always that reality check. We have to remember where we are. We have to remember things. Saturn is really loving Venus, this nice sextile. And this is really nice because they haven't been in a sextile for a while. So he's given her some really good energy. This is good for finding long-lasting relationships. And just, this is about enduring beauty and something that will last for a long time. This is something, a love, a partnership, something that you really are connected to. And this is Taurus. So Taurus is the earth. This is more realness. This is bringing it into being. Saturn in Aquarius made obstacles. So when he was in Aquarius and he was having the aspects with Saturn, it made our love lives hard. It created obstacles. It just made loving hard altogether. That's what Saturn does. He's always throwing up a wall here and there just to make sure everything is fine and dandy. But here, it's easy flowing. It's easy flowing. It wants to go with the flow here. It wants to love. It wants to accept. It has compassion. But realistically, okay? Realistically, it's not off in la la land somewhere. It's bringing it to realness that you can see, that you can actually live, that you can actually create a good, solid foundation that you can create upon and grow. Now, another thing that he's doing is he's helping her get some things done. When she was an Aries, Aries can be aggressive. It can get you starting a lot of things. You can put a lot of things on your plate that you can't commit to. You end up doing that. But now it's like, okay, she's in Taurus and she's sick, and Saturn's here. It's like, I got you, girl. I will help you. This needs to go out. This needs to go out. And we need to focus right here. This is what we need to focus on in order to complete what you want to do. That is, to me, awesome, because that is so needed when you are trying to create. You need that focus sometimes, because when you're in that creation mode, it's just out there everywhere. Another good thing is that the fixed star Murok, she will be meeting up with Murok as well. So this is good fortune for marriage. Juno is also in Taurus, and that's more about partnerships. So this is really, really good. We are coming about a time to where we are coming out of all of that we had, that 2003, that huge conjunction that we had with Saturn. Remember, Saturn and Pluto met up. It was a big thing. Go back and listen to my shows from December of 2019 and January 2020, because I really tried to cover this. This was a big thing. So we're out of that now. And we have things that have come to illumination. We are seeing these things. We are trying to process them. Mars moving in Cancer. We're going to try to process these things emotionally and move through them, work through them, and heal. And this is lining us up to be able to do so, to be able to have this smooth moving into April and into the rest of the year, because with Pluto and things that he's doing with him in Aquarius, you know, he is going to bring science. You know, him in Aquarius is bringing science to the forefront. I can also see with Saturn and Pisces and Pluto and Aquarius, I can see where spirituality is also being highlighted as well. I can see a different kind of understanding. So this will be massive change, and of course it will be personally and collectively. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen gradually, just like I said before. And what happened, you know, you saw the gradualness of it. With him moving back into Capricorn, we can see some uprisal of those top-down structures trying to gain more power. But when he moves back into Aquarius, I think that's going to be it with that as well. So this is affecting society, organization, and you know, this is an energy can move us to a whole new world. So I look forward to seeing what is happening, because by 2025, Saturn is going to be moving into Aries, and then Neptune is going to be moving into Aries as well. And that is going to give us a whole new frontier ahead of us. So thank you so much for watching this, the astrology part. Please stay tuned to the tarot. I can't wait to hear what it says. And I do have a new tarot deck I can't wait to use. So I'll see you in a minute.